In the Horn of Africa, a region marked by conflict, lies a remarkable anomaly. Somaliland has its own government, currency, army, and holds democratic elections. Its people have a strong national identity, forged through decades of struggle. By all practical measures, Somaliland is a country. Yet, on official world maps, it does not exist. Hargeisa, the capital, bustles with commerce and relative peace, a stark contrast to neighboring Somalia. This peace was hard-won, built on consensus and democratic principles, even without outside help. Somaliland meets all the criteria for statehood, territory, population, government, but lacks international recognition. This means it cannot access global financial institutions or join organizations like the UN. Somaliland is a functioning state, treated as a region of a far more chaotic country. This video explores Somaliland's unique history, its struggle for independence, and the world's refusal to acknowledge its existence. To understand Somaliland's quest for sovereignty, we must look back to the colonial era. The Somali people were split among 5 colonial territories. The British ruled the north, the Italians the south. British Somaliland was lightly governed, with traditional clan structures left intact. Italian Somaliland, by contrast, saw heavy investment and direct rule, creating a centralized state. These differences shaped 2 distinct political cultures. When independence came, British Somaliland was briefly a sovereign state before merging with the South to form the Somali Republic. The union was driven by pan-Somali nationalism, a dream of unity, but the 2 regions were fundamentally different, shaped by their colonial pasts. For 5 days in 1960, Somaliland was independent and recognized. Then, in pursuit of unity, it joined with the South. The union, born of idealism, would soon unravel. The seeds of future conflict were sown in these colonial lines. The promise of unity quickly faded for Somalilanders. Power shifted to Mogadishu, and Southerners dominated government positions. Northerners felt sidelined, their expectations of equal partnership dashed. A new constitution was imposed despite Northern rejection, deepening resentment. Economic neglect followed, with development focused on the South while the North stagnated. The dream of shared prosperity never materialized. Discontent grew, culminating in Siad Barre's 1969 coup. Barre's dictatorship centralized power and targeted the North, especially the Isaac clan. This set the stage for a brutal civil war and Somaliland's eventual break. Under Siad Barre, the North faced systematic persecution. The Isaac clan was marginalized, their economic activities restricted, and their communities targeted. In response, the Somali National Movement, SNM, formed, shifting its focus to liberating the North. The regime's brutality escalated into genocide, especially during the 1988 Hargeisa Holocaust. Barre's forces bombed cities, executed civilians, and destroyed livelihoods. Tens of thousands died, and hundreds of thousands fled to Ethiopia. The violence severed any remaining ties between Somaliland and the Somali Republic. When Barre's regime collapsed in 1991, the South descended into chaos. For Somalilanders, reunification was unthinkable. The union had ended in bloodshed and betrayal. The path to independence was now clear. As southern Somalia fell into chaos, the SNM took control of the north. Cities lay in ruins, and refugees returned to rebuild. Clan elders convened a grand conference in Burao, relying on traditional law to restore peace. The consensus, the union with Somalia had failed. Independence was the only path forward. On May 18, 1991, Somaliland declared the restoration of its sovereignty within its colonial borders. This was not secession but a withdrawal from a failed union. The declaration brought hope. Dasen skiden mime, Hidakos dalanchin, dasen timaban. Quado Zainson famau lyson drulin, and dancin breed. Sword redargur stein smiden stiden remained, disarming militias and uniting clans. Through further conferences, Somaliland created a hybrid system blending tradition and democracy, laying the foundation for stability. With peace established, Somaliland began building a state from scratch, without external aid. A new constitution was drafted and overwhelmingly approved in a 2001 referendum. This affirmed Somaliland's independence and commitment to democracy. Somaliland has since held multiple elections, with peaceful transfers of power rare in the region. The country introduced its own currency and established key economic institutions. The port of Berbera became an economic lifeline, supporting both Somaliland and Ethiopia. Security forces were unified from former militias, maintaining law and order. Unlike southern Somalia, Somaliland's stability is homegrown. Its institutions are a testament to what determined people can build. Despite its achievements, Somaliland remains diplomatically invisible. The African Union fears that recognizing Somaliland could trigger secessionist movements across Africa. Somaliland argues it is simply restoring its colonial borders, not creating new ones. An AU mission acknowledged Somaliland's unique case, but political will is lacking. Somalia's government opposes Somaliland's independence, seeing it as a threat to its own legitimacy. International powers defer to the AU and avoid recognition, fearing regional instability. Billions have been spent trying to stabilize Somalia, while Somaliland's success is ignored. Somaliland receives aid and cooperation, but not the recognition it seeks. It remains a victim of geopolitical caution and diplomatic inertia. Today, Somaliland stands as a beacon of peace and self-reliance in a troubled region. Its democracy, though imperfect, is robust compared to many recognized states. Peaceful transfers of power and a vibrant civil society are the norm. The economy, driven by livestock, remittances, and the port of Berbera, is resilient. Lack of recognition, however, limits access to international finance and investment. For Somalilanders, their identity is clear. They are not part of Somalia. Diplomatic limbo affects education, travel, and economic opportunity. The quest for recognition is about dignity and a rightful place in the world. Somaliland's story is one of resilience, hope, and the will to define